It is Friday, May 21st, and I think I'm all done with A-OK. I can't believe it. Yeah, it's been a very busy week, and last weekend, the last video I recorded, I mentioned how I was frustrated with the case cover and that it just wasn't right, and we hadn't figured out a new solution. Well, my editor, Andrew, texted me an idea that he had been talking out with the design team. It was super simple, and I was like, oh my god, this is great. Like, this makes total sense. I love it. So I drew out my own version of it, sent it to him, and he was like, oh, what if you just like flip it? And so I flipped it, shrunk it a little bit, and then we're like good to go. And it was the weekend, so I had sent it to the design team, but obviously I wasn't going to hear back until Monday. But part of me was just like, it's so simple. I think I'm just gonna make it, like, print it out, ink it, color it, the whole 9 yards, because it, if they had any edits to it, then I could just easily implement them, or even if I had to redraw it completely, it was so simple that it wouldn't take that much time. So this is what we ended up with. Just Jay looking in the mirror like he does all throughout the book. It's so simple, but I think it's just so perfect, and you have to wait to see the colorful version. Yeah, so easy, and I love it. And it's the case itself is going to have like a glossy coating on it, so it'll kind of be shiny, which I think is perfect because it's a mirror. So yeah, I feel really good about it. It was no stress to do that. And then on Monday, they wanted some art for the copyright page, so I was actually able to reuse a lot of the doodles from this version. I ended up inking a bunch of them. I rearranged them completely different because it's just for the one single page in the book. And then I added some dry erase markers, or I guess they were here. They started out really small, and then they had an edit for me to make them a different scale. So you have to see that in the final version. And that was just line art, so I just colored the line art, which was like perfect for the actual copyright page as opposed to the cover where it would look really spare. So yeah, that was super straightforward, and there were a bunch of little edits that they had for me with the colors, like things, or just little things to tweak here and there, and then I caught a couple of things, and then I just started going through the PDF, and I was like, oh, what about this, and so today, I didn't hear anything yesterday, and then today Andrew texted me this morning. He's like, okay, I think we're sending you like another thing of edits. I think it's the last round. I don't know that he said that, but something about the way he said it made me think it was the last of it. And I quickly made all the edits this afternoon. I've been working back at CCS Tuesday through today, and so I was like, okay, I have to go back and do some final things in my book, and then I'll be back in the office. And I think it's all pretty much done. I haven't heard anything else. And I haven't heard that they've sent it to the printer. So, I'm sure I'll get like the final, like it's all done, but it feels pretty done. Anything that they may send my way at this point would be so minor. Yeah, it's so weird to be done. It doesn't feel like real. I don't know. Like, what do I do? What do I do with my time? Yeah. And my first publicity event for A-OK was on Wednesday, which was so, like, part of me wanted to say, like, technically I'm not done yet. But it was this, I didn't even know what it was for until, like, the day before, and it was for indie booksellers. And it was me and 6 other authors, and we each had, like, literally 5 minutes, and we got all the questions ahead of time, and but you have to like practice, and then you hope that you say everything eloquently and you don't stumble over yourself too badly. And I was the third one to go, so the first 2 were like so amazing. They just seemed so like calm, cool, and collected, and it wasn't their first book, and so they had, I guess, done stuff like this many times before. And one of them was like calling in from the set of his like Netflix movie with Kerry Washington and Charlize Theron, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why am I here? Yeah, so it was a blur. It went by so fast. I had, when I first logged into the event, I could see that there was like already 100 people like there, and I was like, oh, I'm like, and I had all the lights and everything that you can see like on over at my desk. So I was like, and it's like 90 degrees, so I'm just like sweating to death. And yeah, I just, you just, if you film an interview, you don't have to watch yourself. You don't have to go look it up and watch it. So I'll just hope that it was good. My editor said I did great, so I'm like, okay, cool. I don't I don't need to see this. Yeah, so I mean, I guess there's a proofing process that'll come in at some point. For my first book, Scullion, I only saw a digital proof of it, so I don't know that I think normally with like a bigger publisher you get like physical proofs in the mail, like proofs for the coloring, so you can look through and see how it all prints and make sure it's all right, and if there are any really 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 final changes, you got to make them then. I'm a little worried with some of the colors, just because in a few places though I feel like the darker colors were really necessary. And when you print on like shiny glossy paper, it's not an issue, but when you're printing on matte paper or something that feels like not glossy or like textured, which is what we're doing for AOK, the colors can print darker than they look on screen. When it's glossy, they pretty much print like as they look. So I'm a little worried. Scullion was on glossy paper, so it wasn't an issue. This one I'm a little like, oh, I hope it's right. I think it'll be really close, even if I have to end up ultimately tweaking things, but I'm excited. Seeing the PDF with like the title page and everything like in there, it's so crazy, and the HarperCollins logo and my little biography with my picture, it's just like it's all so real. And yeah, I'm really curious what people are gonna think. And I was telling my sister, I'm like, it's nerve-wracking because like, it's so based on my life that a criticism of it feels like a criticism of me, but I don't know, hopefully by then it won't feel like that. I saw my former roommate the other day for dinner, and I gave her one of the ARCs, and she was texting me, and she's like, oh my god, it's so good, and it makes me feel like I know you even better. And I'm like, oh, that's nice. It's so weird that the people are reading it. Try not to think about it. Yeah. One thing though is that I signed a 2-book deal, so I don't have much of a break. At some point I'm gonna have to start working on another book, which I can't even think about that right now. I just need to breathe. Yeah, there's not much else to say right now. And yeah, I have to do some social media like artwork and things like that for the Harper Alley Instagram. They sent me that a while ago, but it's not due. It wasn't due for a while, it's still not due, and so in the next couple weeks I'll probably get that done just to knock it out and get it off my plate. But it's just fun like author stuff that they can post around the time that it's coming out. So yeah, I have to turn it in by July, but they don't start using it until like October, November, just to kind of give you an idea of what the timeline for these things are, which is so interesting. Being an author, it's like you kind of live in the future a little bit. Yeah, so that's all there is. And yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens next.